this is the 5th of February, and we thank God for how far the Lord has brought us. We thank Him for what He's doing for us. Also, in all things, I say that we are victorious because you have a God who fights for us. And this wonderful day, dear listener, I just want to pick up a conversation which I was having with most of you yesterday online about finding out about the childhood of our partners and knowing what happened in their childhood. And it's very interesting because many people actually don't understand how much the childhood of a person is very, very critical in how they become as grown-ups, and we don't know exactly what to ask and how to ask. So what I'm focusing on today, dear listener, this wonderful Friday, is that's not just to ask, but what exactly should I ask? Because it's one thing to tell you that, okay, you should find out about your partner's childhood, but what exactly should you know about? What are the things that you should actually ask that are relevant to the relationship? Because it's not relevant to ask your partner if at all they ever played kati. It doesn't make sense. That adds up to nothing. Did they play hide and seek? That adds up to nothing. But the questions when you ask, they'll actually add up to something. And I'm talking about questions that are important to ask your partner. And these ones will unlock very many things. Because remember also, it's not just the knowledge, it's the kind of question you ask. Someone asked me once that why do we miss so many things during dating? And I said we miss many things during dating because in dating we ask the wrong questions. And if you're dating, you ask the wrong questions, then automatically you'll get irrelevant answers. And the relevant answers will be useless to you when you're married. Again, if you're married, if you ask the wrong questions, you'll always get it wrong. I believe that the quality of life you live also, dear listener, is also determined by the quality of questions you ask. So if you ask, and at times we are dating and we don't know what question do I ask. So you want to ask, okay, are you 7 children? Oh, how many? We are 7. That's okay. But what is the relevance of that question to the person and how they are today? So dear listener, walk with me as I talk about 12 important childhood questions to ask. 12 important childhood questions to ask. You can ask others. Come and why virgins? You can ask. But those are relevant questions. Question number 1, which parent were you close to? This will unlock any parent wound that your partner has. Because if your partner says, I was closer to my dad, and I'll be very honest, if you find that it is it's a gentleman saying, I was closer to my dad than I was to my mom, then a question comes up, which is that, was he hurt by any parent? Did his mother hurt him? Does this man have a mother's wound? Because on average, you'd hear guys say, no, I'm close to my dad, but I have been closer to my mom. And it's easier to hear a girl say that I've been close to my mother, yes, but I'm closer to my dad. When there's a problem in that, then you begin to say, is there a childhood wound that you have not looked at? And also it will tell you who is the active voice in their life. Which parent talks more to them? Which parent are they working towards pleasing? Because also there are some dynamics you find that someone is working hard to please the parent who they were never close to. I had a couple in my office where this man was spending so much money selling to his father. Anything the father said, he said yes. I want a new car. He said, Dad, I'll buy you a new car. Anything the dad wanted, the guy said yes. Why? Because he was close to his mom, and all his life he looked for the approval of his father. And that affected his marriage. So it's good to know which voice will be speaking in our marriage. It's of course the parent who they're closer to, or the parent who they seek approval from. Knowing the parent who they're close to, dear listener, will help you know also your partner's philosophy of life. A mother who's close to a child, maybe close to a daughter, and this mother doesn't believe that marriage works. And this mother doesn't believe that mwanaume anafaa kuambiwa sijui aje. The mother will say mwanaume sio kubembelezwa, mwanaume anataka ukae ngumu. So you marry a wife na anakaa ngumu na wewe. Why? Because her philosophy of life was built upon a mother who was close to her and a mother who had that kind of philosophy of life. Number 2 is, were they bullied when they were small, or were they the bullies? Because some of you are married to bullies. You married a man or a woman who is a bully. And everything they do, they bully you, they bully the children, they bully the house help, they bully the in-laws, they are bullies. Or were you the one who was being bullied? This explains why some people in marriage are aggressive. They're emotionally needy. So if at all I know that my partner was bullied, then potentially in the marriage, they will be maybe passive aggressive. They might be maybe emotionally needy. They might maybe be saying that you don't protect me. I've heard people saying that my partner doesn't protect me. Why? They were bullied, no one stood up for them. Or you just marry someone who was a victim of bullying and they decided they'll never be talked down to again. So you married a wife like that, unamwambia nisaidie maji, anakwambia utanitumatuma hapa. Why? Not because the problem ni kutumatumwa. Is you sending her reminds her of the bully she met when she was in Form 1, who used to send her for water. So she has made up her mind that now I have a job, now I'm successful. You cannot send me, you cannot tell me anything because I will not be bullied by you. So at times you find someone is very defensive in a marriage and you wonder why. Maybe they were picked on when they were small and they had to learn to defend themselves. So are they bullied or are they the bully? If you married a bully, come for prayers. Number 3, who taught your partner about sex? And when did they learn? And importantly, how did they learn? Now, what I'll say now will send shockwaves wherever you are. But understand this, that the human body and the human mind emotionally matures over a period of time. And I've seen marriages now, and this is an issue in very many relationships right now, is that we get married and we are married to partners who began having sex before adolescence. And the problem with this is that you find that when someone is having sex before adolescence, because the way we are wired as human beings emotionally, we reach emotional maturity if we walk well after adolescence. Now, someone engages in sex when they are 9 years old. You marry a man who had sex when he was 9. This man will succeed in life. He'll be a good businessman, will be a good career man, will do very well in many things. But there's one area in his life you'll struggle with. And this area, my dear friends, is emotional maturity. You will find that you're married to a 9-year-old man. The tantrum throws for a 9-year-old man. You find it's a girl, you marry a woman who began having sex when she was 13. And also the marriage, yes, she's successful, she's getting business done, she's getting what done, but emotionally, she's a 13-year-old and behaves like a 13-year-old. When trouble comes, when an issue is in the marriage, they react like 13-year-olds. Why? Because we get stuck at that point. We interfere with the natural flow of things because the body understands that the moment I can have sex, then I'm fully mature. So the moment that I have sex and I've not fully gone through puberty, automatically, emotionally, I get stuck at that particular point. Now, you married someone who had sex when they were 9, you had sex when you were 12. You're both 48 right now, but emotionally, you are children. So emotionally, what happened? You have conflict like children. And this is a huge disaster in many marriages, dear listener. Very many of them. Number 4. Were they disciplined and how were they disciplined? Were they disciplined and how were they disciplined? This question will tell you about how they will approach parenting. Also, it will tell you how they'll approach correction and explain to you why they can be defensive or offensive. If they were never disciplined, why they can't take responsibility, why they are perpetually immature on some issues or irresponsible. Was your partner disciplined? Who disciplined them? And how was their mode of discipline? If you can't understand this, you'll never understand their thought of parenting and their thoughts about responsibility, dear listener. That is very important. And number 5, you have to ask about how did they do house chores when they are small? Who did what? How are the roles in the family they came from and how was it done? This will help you know about the work ethic and what they understand about work, how about planning and distribution of work in marriage. Some people are married to lazy people because you never asked them how did they do chores when they were small. When they were small, they never did any chore. Hakuwahi beba kijiko in their lives. And you're marrying someone, you expect them to manage a 5-bedroom house. How? You expect them to have the kitchen clean. How? You married a man who didn't do anything in his life. You expect him to change a bulb. Na hata ajui kama bulbs zinakujanga na nyumba, kama package, ama bulbs are bought separately. The guy has never known. Did not even know where tires are found. Does not know even what to do. What was the distribution of work the house your partner came from? Who did what? What did the dad do? What did the mom do? What did the siblings do? What time did they wake up to do some work? If you don't ask this question, my dear friend, you'll find yourself marrying someone anticipating they've got good work ethic and they don't have. And on the sixth one, before I go on this break, and the sixth one is connected to the one I said about who taught them about sex, is this. Ask about previous relationships. Please, please, please. This madness we have, that past relationships remain in the past. Yes, the person remains in the past. Your ex remains your ex. That is a fact. But it is important your partner knows that in truth, this lady who stays upstairs in this apartment, I used to have a relationship with her. We used to sleep together. Took a breakup last year because she was cheating on me. It's important your partner to know your previous relationships. Why? Because they have formed you, they have shaped you to be the way you are now. Also to understand why you the problem. Because maybe you have been the problem in your relationships. So you can't assume that I don't want to know about your past. I have to know about your past because I don't want to be caught blind wing by people appearing in the middle. I've had couples that people have appeared in my office saying that, you know what, yes, we are here, but someone came and said that my husband raped her 2 years ago while we were dating. Yo mnaanzia wapi? You know, where do you start? Did this person have a history of infidelity? Were they unfaithful in their previous relationship? Were they abused? What happened? You know? Also, are you marrying someone who was a universal charger? You're marrying a man who has slept with 42 women. Ni vizuri ujue that there are 42 potentially. If I throw a stone, I'm likely to meet a woman he has slept with. Therefore, how do I survive this marriage knowing that anywhere I go, there's a woman that he might have slept with? These are things you have to know. To let you know, am I ready to sign up for this? Or I'm not ready to sign up for this. This is important because it ties to the point about how do we learn about sex and what is sex to us? Who taught us? Those two are important things to learn about, because if I don't know these things, then our intimacy might have a problem. Because you're dealing with someone who has never known how to be intimate or believes that intimacy is come and go. Tupitange tukienda. So you're expecting commitment and you can't get commitment from a person because in their entire life, they have never been committed to anyone and they don't believe in commitment. We will talk after this break, dear listener. Welcome back, dear listener, to 88.3 FM. This is Waumini Soul Food. I'm Victor Salamba. This wonderful Friday, dear listener, the first Friday of February, the 5th of February. And I'm talking about 12 things, 12 important questions to ask your spouse. 12 important questions. Don't ask them what they had for breakfast when they were small. These are important questions that will actually help the journey of your marriage together. So it is important, dear listener, to know that these are important questions to ask. And I say again, you cannot say that those things happened in the past, stay in the past. No, we are who we are because of the road we have walked and the experiences that we have had. Number 7, who taught them about work? Who taught them about work? Work ethic is taught and learned during childhood. And some people marry lazy people and start complaining later. Yet, if you ask the question, you'll know what is your partner's definition of work. Maybe your partner's definition of work is that you go and work. You go work, bring food. Maybe that's the definition of work. I have seen men who have married wives and they complain, my wife does not work. Doesn't want to work, will never work. I have found women who have married men who say that this man can't work to save his life. What was the definition of work? Who taught them about work? Were they taught the importance of work? Were they taught that for them to be able to eat, they have to work? Or were they taught that work is done by someone else? Yes, that is what work is. Work's your mimi. Because I've seen couples where things go bad and someone asks another one, satufanye, you know, and rent is due. Satufanye. You know, and you wonder, okay, you know, and I've seen people even walking out of marriages because their partners were unable to show up and work. So who taught your partner about work? Nani aliwafundisha? And the person who taught them, how did they teach them? Number 8, what hurt them the most in their childhood? Now, this is a question you shoot straight. You're having lunch, so what hurt you the most when you're growing up? You'll be surprised that what comes out from the top of our heads. You'll be surprised. At times you hear someone saying, oh, when I was in class 6, my mom punished me for something I had not done. It's my sister who had done this, and my mom punished me for this. And this tells you something about this person. That anytime they feel that someone is accusing them, they'll go to war. If you ask him a question, ask her a question that looks like it's accusing them, they go to war with you. They'd rather fight for you because they remember very well that hurt them. Ask, what hurt you the most while you were growing up as a child? What hurt you the most? I have seen couples who are struggling with intimacy because someone was hurt when they were small and they never said. And you realize that when you're going through sessions. Remember what hurt you when you were a child hurts you when you're an adult unless you have dealt with it. So what hurt them the most? Alinyimwa food? What happened? Number 9. How were they introduced to money and what does money mean to them? How were they introduced to money and what does money mean to them? This is a gem of a question to get to know and understand your partner's money language and their spending habits. If you don't ask your partner what does money mean to them, who taught you about money? What do you understand about money? Was money what made the family work? Was the lack of money that made the family not to work? But you can be married to a man or a woman who comes home every day buying the children gifts, daily and annual gifts. Now you think that money should be saved. But you didn't talk about who taught you about money. What do you understand about money? What does money mean to you? When you're growing up, what did money mean to you? You know, I like cracking a joke is that I grew up in a very big family, and it was always very tricky that whenever food was bought, food was measured because we were many. Bread slices would be counted, meat would be counted, the number of pieces, because my dad had many kids. And so in my mind, I always do that money is for one thing. Money is to buy food. Money is to buy food. You know? And all through, I believe that if I get money, the first thing I should buy is food, and a lot of food. And so it was a good discussion to have with my wife, because I understand that to me, when I get money, I want to buy food. My first instinct is I need to spend money on food. Because I grew up, I always thought if I had money, then I would be able to buy the food I want to eat. It used to hurt me, I could not buy the food I wanted. You know, it's important to understand that. You know, was the family dictated that way? What do they know about money? Do they think that money comes easy? Do they think that people are just given money? Money grows on trees? Or do they also believe, tied to the previous question, that money is tied to work? If you work, then you can get money. What do they know about money? Or do they believe that money is given for nothing? Number 10, how did their parents resolve conflict between themselves and between their siblings? How did your parents, that's a question to ask your spouse, how did your father and your mother fight? How did your dad and mom resolve conflicts among themselves? If your mom and her sister had a fight, how did they resolve that conflict? When you and your siblings went to war, how did your parents resolve that conflict? That, my dear friend, will help you know your partner's emotional maturity to handle conflict in the marriage. You married someone who does not know conflict resolution because in the family they grew up, the father and the mother never had conflict resolution skills. The dad and the uncles have not spoken for 28 years. So how do you think that Mukosana ne, he will talk to you? What he knows is that when I'm angry at someone, we don't talk for 28 years. So you're married, you're in your second year, he's not talking to you. Wait for 28. Because the guy knows that conflict is not solved this way. Most people know how to solve conflict or conflict resolution skills based on how their parents solve their conflicts. Number 11, is there history of infidelity or abuse in their parents' marriage? Is there history of infidelity or abuse in their parents' marriage? This will open you up more to a world of vulnerability and humanity in the life of your partner. Because now your partner has to show the nakedness of his family or of her family. This is one of the funniest secrets. This will tell you what they think about faithfulness, marriage, and family. Did your husband or your wife, did they come from a family where there was infidelity or there was fighting or there was abuse? This is a question you have to ask. Number 12, what are they most ashamed of about their childhood, their family, or place of origin? What are they most ashamed of? This will let you know what the triggers are in the life of your partner and know what is a no-go zone, what conversations you should not say, what things will bring conflict, and what are the self-esteem issues that your partner has or that fuels the life of your partner. Because many people in marriage and in life are battling low self-esteem. And low self-esteem many times it happens because of where we came from. Are they ashamed of their mother? Maybe the mom has a mental illness. Are they ashamed of their mom? Are they ashamed of their dad? The dad is a very alcoholic. Are they ashamed of him when the dad has mental illness? Sometimes I found families that are ashamed of their parents because the parents have got a mental illness. Are they ashamed of these things? You must know, are they ashamed that when they were small, walikimbia kwa estate naked? What are they ashamed of? What are they ashamed of? Are they ashamed of their tribe? Are they ashamed of their village? Maybe the village is known for witchcraft. Na hataki kujulikana anatoka huko. You hear someone reducing themselves to 2 English names because they're afraid that where they come from, they have known for a particular thing. Ask your partner, what are you most ashamed of about your childhood? This will also help you know their fear and what fuels them in life. Dear listener, you're on 88.3 FM. This is Waumini. I'm Victor Salamba. This reflection will be available on my Facebook page, Victor Salamba, during the course of this wonderful day, dear listener.